Okay guys, I'm going to do a quick video of the tools I use to maintain my knives. This is just a quick teaser, the next knife in my video. The next knife I'm going to do a video on. So first thing I'm going to cover is sharpening. I covered it briefly in my Fulcrum 2 review, but I'm going to go in a little bit more in detail. This is the set I use to set bevels on my knives. This is a Gatco 4-stone professional kit. It's got the extra coarse, medium, and fine, and then the serrated hone, which I haven't even used this. Doesn't even have any oil soaked into it. That is just me trying to get the oil to soak into it. That doesn't need to be in there. It's just a little rubber band. So this is actually a pretty good set if you have one or two lower quality knives. Like if you have a couple of older pen knives, or if you have a few older pen knives, or if you have something like a couple of stuff like this, not the best steel, but still pretty good knives. This is all you need. I'm getting to the point now where I have a lot of knives with harder steels, like even a knife with 8CR. This is an 8CR 13 MOV blade. This struggles. It takes forever. You have to continuously clean the stones when you're using them. It takes forever, and I'm looking into getting a KME. But so here's what I use, and then these are just some extras. These are actually oil stones, but I use them with soapy water and a honing oil bottle. This is just to keep it from evaporating, but this is just regular water with a little bit of dish soap in it. It's lemon scented, but it doesn't matter. This is a super fine, and this is a fine. This I think is somewhere around an 1800 grit. This is about a 1000 grit, maybe a little finer. But that's sharpening. With this system, on a softer steel, I can get an edge. I can get a burr and then go through all the stones in about 30 minutes. Whole sharpening time is about 45 minutes. That's just because these stones, even you can see, stone needs to be cleaned. I used it recently, and it needs to be cleaned again. It's another reason I don't like these stones is because they are messy. You have to use them wet. I want a KME because the stones are diamonds. You can use them dry. So there's sharpening. Oh, and for the stones, I have a stone holder that I made out of Lego because that's what I do. The tripod my phone is currently sitting on is also made of Lego. That's why it's a little rickety. So into maintenance and tooling. This is a set of Snap-on Torx Bits. I showed these in one of my videos. I can't remember which one, but bump the tripod again. That's just a set of Snap-on Torx Bits. I use the T6, the T8, the T7, and the T10 most. A couple of my eyes use the T9. I've never used these two. This is a 15 and a 20. You don't ever need anything that high. Frankly, with a lot of knives, you can get away with one of these. As long as you don't have any free spinning pivots, you can get away with one of these. This is just a little Torx bar that came with the cheap butterfly knife I bought on Amazon. It's a Security T8 on one side and a T6 on the other side. That's all I need. And now for my box of tools and lubricants and stuff. This is Allen keys, and then this is a poker, and I use this to put Loctite into pivot holes. These are some smaller Allen keys. These are inch Allen keys. These are millimeter Allen keys. 8 and 1. Yeah, these are metric, and then these are inch standard. And then that goes in there. Then I have Loctite, blue Loctite, and then I have JB branded, JB Weld removable thread locker. I have two kinds of silicone oil, or shock oil. This is I'm guessing this is about an 80 weight shock oil. I don't know the exact weight because this bottle isn't labeled anymore. This is pretty thick stuff. I use this where, like, in that fulcrum 2, in this fulcrum 2, behind this plate, you're supposed to have grease there. There's a little pocket you're supposed to put grease in. I use this because it's pretty thick. It still flows, but it doesn't flow as quickly as this stuff. This is a 20 weight shock oil. I don't know if this is a silicone shock oil, or if this, I don't know if this is a silicone shock oil, or if this is a petroleum-based shock oil, but it doesn't really have a smell. It has a very fine applicator tip. It's a nice cap. It doesn't leak. The bottle's very squishy. This is pretty good stuff. This is a heavy. This is a number 2 extreme high pressure Redlithium bearing grease. This is actually for wheel bearings for cars. But in small amounts you can use it in speed safe knives and knives where assisted knives with a spring in them, something like that. Where you want to use grease so the spring doesn't rattle, you can use that stuff. Now I'm going to put this back. And this is just a oiler I use. Because you can also just use honing oil. This is a very light. This is like an 8 weight, I think. This is closer to an 8 or a 10 weight oil. You can use this in some knives with bearings. This is pretty good stuff, but I don't have any nano oil or diaryl oil or any of that stuff. You can also use, if you have, hold on a second, I just dropped my bottles up. If you have any kind of firearms, if you do a lot of gun cleaning, you can actually use gun oil in some knives. This is, first of all, this is an old bottle. It's unopened. I don't want to open it. I'm going to buy a new bottle, but this is a high viscosity Hopes lubricating oil. And on the back, it actually says you can use it in pen knives. But this is the way it sounds is probably a 15 weight. It's still pretty thin compared to most shock oils. This is pretty thin stuff. But this is it's essentially 3-in-1 oil, but without the smell. Yeah. It's colorless and it's non-gumming. It probably stinks. I don't know. I haven't opened this and I probably won't. Yep, and then I just have, 91% rubbing alcohol. A container for Q-tips. I need to buy more. I'm running low. And then I have a towel on my desk, my dresser that I use as a desk. That 1 covers up the holes and 2 keeps small parts from bouncing when they hit the table. And then I just have over there, I don't know if you can see it or not. Hold on a second. There, right there. I just have a roll of toilet paper that I use like towels. Oh, and for sharpening, I also have this strop that's just got cardboard and paper as abrasives. And then you can use the wood on the back if you want to. But that's pretty much all of the stuff I use for my knives. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just, oh, and I have a shop rag over there. But, that's the tools I use for my knives and other stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. That's it. Goodbye.